Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Browns OG Wyatt Teller's wife calls out Steelers fans after rivalry showdown. The Pittsburgh Steelers-Cleveland Browns rivalry is arguably at an all-time high for the last 25 years. It certainly appears to be from the perspective of the wife of Browns offensive guard Wyatt Teller, Carly Teller. Carly shared on social media that she didn't have a good experience watching the Steelers-Browns matchup at Acrisure Stadium on December 8. On X, formerly Twitter, she described the Pittsburgh fans in her section as blatantly disrespectful. "The fans in Pittsburgh today were so blatantly disrespectful to me and the Browns girls," Teller wrote. "I've never felt so attacked by people who I literally did nothing to. Very sad/embarrassing behavior." Carly was a little more specific about what happened in a post on her Instagram story. "When you're just trying to have a drink and watch your husbands at work but surrounded by Steelers fans who are screaming at them and you the entire time," Carly wrote with a couple emojis. It's disappointing to hear that Carly didn't have a great experience at Acrisure Stadium. It's one of the best places to see a game in the NFL. Of course, one of the top reasons it can claim that title is the fan base, which is extremely loyal and passionate for the home team. It's really impossible to know if Carly's claim that Steelers fans displayed embarrassing behavior during Week 14 is genuine. None of us were there to judge. But it was a Steelers-Browns rivalry matchup. And sometimes, when fans have bad experiences at other stadiums with opposing fans, they just simply met a bad apple. Every fan base has them. Steelers Depot's Alex Kozora shared his reaction to Carly's social media posts about her experience from watching Steelers-Browns in Week 14. "Without video evidence or any other verification, it's impossible to know the validity of Carly Teller's claims," wrote Kozora. "Steelers fans, like any fan base, are capable of crossing lines, especially when sports rivalries and alcohol are involved. But any taunts may have been directed more generally than at her specifically, and the same can probably be said about Steelers wives when they travel to hostile places like the Dog Pound." If Carly's intention in sharing her Acrisure Stadium experience was to gain pity from social media, it didn't work very well. A lot of Steelers fans responded to Carly's story with stories of their own about the hardships they faced watching the Steelers play in Cleveland. "I got the same treatment from a Browns fan. There's one everywhere. Relax," wrote one Steelers fan. "I got surrounded by Browns fans and had to listen to 'Here we go Brownies woof woof' and expletive, the Steelers the whole 35-minute walk through the blizzard back to my truck in Cleveland a couple weeks ago," wrote another Steelers fan. "Cry us a river." Other Steelers fans doubted that she was telling the truth or just flat out said they didn't care. "I saw you yapping the whole game," wrote another Steelers fan. "It's called a rivalry game in the AFC North and also a revenge game against the most hated team in Steelers Nation, so what did you expect?" a different Steelers fan asked. A small percentage of Steelers fans, though, did offer an apology on behalf of Steelers Nation. "Sorry you had a bad experience," wrote a fan who claimed to be at the game. "The Browns fans in my section were treated well." "That's unfortunate," wrote another X user. "Sorry to hear this. The Steelers-Browns rivalry won't renew again until next season. But there will surely be plenty of rowdy fans from both teams at each meeting in the rivalry during 2025. Steelers believe they are contenders going into stretch of 3 key games. Preseason's over. Now the real work begins for the Pittsburgh Steelers. While the past 3 months have been promising and productive for the first-place Steelers, 10-3, it has come largely at the expense of teams who will likely watch the playoffs on TV. 6 of Pittsburgh's victories have come against teams who currently have losing records. The other 4 wins, Denver, the Chargers, Washington, and Baltimore, are solid resume builders with a small caveat: none of them lead their respective divisions. To be clear, Pittsburgh's play is part of the reason those 4 clubs find themselves looking up to others in the standings. That will change on Sunday when the Steelers travel across the state to face NFC juggernaut Philadelphia, the start of an 11-day sprint in which Pittsburgh also faces a rematch with the Ravens and spends Christmas Day at Acrisure Stadium against Patrick Mahomes and the two-time defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs. "It's just going to show us how good we can be," safety Deshaun Elliott said. "It's a testament to the weekly tunnel vision Pittsburgh coach Mike Tomlin creates that wide receiver Calvin Austin III needed to be reminded about the daunting stretch that awaits after Sunday's relatively drama-free 27-14 win over Cleveland." "Who do we play again?" Austin said. When reminded it was 3 teams that fully expect to be in New Orleans on the second Sunday in February, Austin laughed. "That's a tough little stretch, but at the end of the day it's a 5-star matchup as Coach T says because we're in it," he said. "We know that when we're out there, it's going to always be a big-time performance." Austin and his teammates believe they're ready for after a workmanlike victory over the Browns in which the Steelers were only too intent to let Cleveland self-destruct behind a flurry of penalties, missed field goals and turnovers. More will likely be required in the coming weeks, which is fine by the Steelers. They have put themselves in a position to do things the franchise hasn't done in a while. And for all the good things they've done since early September, they're only too aware their season will be defined by what comes next. Sure, they'd love a little more time between games to rest up. The scheduling gods didn't give them that option. So be it. "I feel like the league kind of hates us already, man," Elliott said. "It's all right. We're going to go out here, play those games, work our butts off, go out and be 3-0. What's working? Letting everybody eat." Russell Wilson seems to be almost pathological in his determination to get every eligible skill position player involved. Steelers predicted to sign Bears' $80 million wide receiver. The Pittsburgh Steelers picked up a nice 27-14 home victory over the Cleveland Browns in Week 14, as the team is now 10-3 and strengthened their lead in the AFC North. Mike Tomlin's squad has won 7 of their last 8 games and will travel to Lincoln Financial Field in Week 15 to square off against the Philadelphia Eagles in a potential Super Bowl preview. The Steelers' offense put together another efficient outing on Sunday versus the Browns, as the unit posted 27 points and converted 6 of 14 third-down attempts. Though Pittsburgh's offense has been productive under offensive coordinator Arthur Smith and the leadership of veteran quarterback Russell Wilson, the group still has some glaring weaknesses, primarily at wide receiver. Outside of George Pickens, the Steelers' wide receiver lacks consistent production. Though Calvin Austin III, Mike Williams, and Van Jefferson have shown glimpses of promise and fantastic play, Pittsburgh doesn't have a capable WR2 opposite Pickens and desperately needs another playmaker this offseason. With the Steelers possibly being in the market for another wide receiver in the offseason, Bleacher Report's Alex Ballentine predicts general manager Omar Khan will sign Chicago Bears star Keenan Allen in 2025 free agency. Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin III, and even Mike Williams have all chipped in to give the Steelers the production of a good number 2 wide receiver to pair with Pickens. Still, it would be good for the team to bring in more talent to the receiving corps. Keenan Allen has not put up big numbers for the Bears this season, but he's still a fairly reliable veteran. It would be worth a shot to see what he has left to offer an offense next season and if he can bounce back in a more functional offense next year. Allen has been one of the most productive players in the NFL since entering the league in 2013, as the 32-year-old has tallied 6 1,000-yard campaigns in 12 years and has also posted 5 seasons with over 100 receptions. Allen spent the first 11 years of his career with the San Diego/Los Angeles Chargers before being traded to the Bears during the 2024 offseason. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Keenan Allen? Leave your opinion in the comments.